worse and no better to the I think about. Dealing, breaking the shit on my wrecking ball. Everyone says you're up next, you know. Dealing, you know. Dealing,
Yeah, so what about that Halo? You just made a like viral TikTok with Halo
as
thing?
I do frequently.
Yeah. What about that one?
Yeah, so this one's pretty cool. This one I kind of had the idea was like I've been doing all these like rock song, you know, kind of like flipping all these like older rock songs and bringing them into the future and shit. And and I'm like a big gamer and stuff. I grew up playing video games and like if I grew up, I still play them.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't honestly if I wasn't doing music, I'd probably be like getting involved in like video game shit somehow. I don't know if I would have been a streamer or like what I would have done, but like I probably would have fucked around with that. And so I guess I started thinking about like I don't know what's a cool like video game like thing I could flip and like turn it into a song, you know. And obviously like the Halo music is like one of the biggest. Yeah, it's just like well, you know, everybody knows that shit.
Where did you
start
like, with that one? Like,
so what I did was like you know, you can totally just fucking rip anything just by like using YouTube to MP3. So I literally found the soundtrack, you know, this fucking right? The iconic soundtrack.
Yeah.
So I just ripped the and I was kind of thinking about okay, I had to like, you know, this is obviously not like when they recorded this, it wasn't like you know, it's like orchestral, so it's not set to like a tempo or you know or anything like that. So I had to like sit here and like I had to warp it and like kind of time it up, and then I was like trying to figure out how I could like spin the sample to be like a little more beat friendly. So I just had it going, you know, looping.
It makes sense that
and then
when you actually explain it, like it makes a lot of sense.
You know,
oh shit.
So had it looping like that instead of like, because if you just play the whole thing, you know, it's like it's super.
Yeah, it's
it
very,
kind of, and then it goes
wavy.
It's all slow and it's all kind of over the place, you know. So I was like, how do I make this like something you can like bop your head to? So I started with that and like building that, and then I kind of moved on to like drum stuff, and I also grabbed this. I was kind of just thinking about okay, what all do I want to grab from the actual thing, and I ended up grabbing these drums.
Oh, cool.
The iconic, you know, from the fucking song.
Yeah.
So I grabbed those, put those on its own track. Did that. I grabbed this for a different section. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're starting to get like, you know, all the elements together of like, okay, this is now I just need to start building a beat around this stuff. So then from there I probably moved on to like the drums and shit. So probably started with, let's see, my drums are all
Well, you have to do the beat like from scratch, basically, right?
Yeah, for sure. So like, you know, so you usually start with like a kick, you know. This is a kick pattern, right? So you put that with that. And then snare. But a lot of these snare layers are like, you know, it's that layer mixed with that layer mixed with that layer. You know, so it's always about like layering sounds and shit. All that type of stuff. So yeah, kick, snare, and then I started like fucking around with like this. Like I sampled the energy sword sound, you know, and put that like where on every other snare, so it's, you know. Type of vibe. And then I probably moved on to like I ended up flipping this little thing, so that way it's always going into the snares, you know. So you have this little pre-shifted snare thing, hi-hats. More little like hi-hat perk thing right here.
Oh, cool.
That thing. This little thing.
Love it.
Beat making is so just like, I mean, it's obviously just about all the little, you know.
It's very subtle making beats.
Yeah, it's super subtle. All these little things.
All the
like,
little things that you didn't even notice.
Yeah.
They're actually together.
Well, that's like what makes a groove, you know? Like
Right.
what makes a groove is just the push and pull of all these different things, like kind of moving around each other and together. Put the drums in, okay. Now we're starting to get somewhere. And then we have like that type of thing, which I've just got like, you know, just basic reverb and shit. This, which was a kind of a cool sound.
Oh, sick. Is that guitar?
I don't.
Like a guitar-ish.
No, it was literally. It started. Literally just a sample that I found that sounded like that. But then I always love just fucking distorting and fucking everything up. Like distortion sounds good on everything, you know, type of vibe.
That's so true.
And then that.
That's for the gun.
We'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
Oh.
So starting to put all those elements together and it's kind of like this. So then the killing spree thing, I brought in this like, no, that's the gun. Where's the killing spree? Yeah. So this is literally like, you know, I can't remember how many kills you get. Like, whenever you get like, you know, fucking however many kills, 8 kills in a row or whatever it is, I can't remember the name. Yeah. The Halo voice in multiplayer, all this like, Killionaire, Killtacular, whatever, all this shit. Brought in killing spree right there. And like, you know, all these little things are like, timed, you know, so it's like I had to make this where it was like killing spree, like on time, like every little detail like that totally matters, you know. Even this little sample before the beat comes in, this, you know, sir, finishing this fight, like it's all timed and stuff, and you have to go in here and fucking move it all around.
That's meticulous work.
I mean, it's all super meticulous, but that's like all the little details like that is what adds it up to like, that's the difference between like a professional fucking product that like feels really good is when you really just dive in on all the meticulous little fucking details like that and just take the time to craft every little section of it to be exactly the way you want it to be. But this killing spree thing is cool, and I thought it'd be cool to like, you know, match the lyric up with that. So when I bring the vocals in, you'll see that like the vocal matches up with the killing spree. Yeah. And then we've got the fucking bass, which is like the, you know, magic sauce that kind of starts tying the whole beat together. And I'll always do this too, like on my basses, like, you know, I'll take a 808 or whatever, you know, bass sound I like, and have it be doing just a normal thing. But I always want to get like a little extra aggression and kind of like that futuristic character out of it. So I'll usually go and fuck with it, and like I really like this plugin a lot. It's called Thermal. It's like kind of a super crazy like distortion plugin where you like fuck around with this little wheel and stuff, and then you can make shit like this. EQ out all the lows, so then it's not getting in the way of like the existing bass. So that just adds a little bit of like kind of extra character and like life to it without it. You know, it's kind of all down here, and then with it just
that's true.
It's like a little extra like wonkiness and character in there that is cool, and it's like those little things that really help make it so. Yeah, this isn't just like I didn't just fucking throw this beat together. Like this isn't just like one little bass. It's not just like an 808 that feels. That's the difference between something feeling normal and familiar and just that little bit of like boundary pushing. It's like, okay, how can I take an 808 and make it feel just like a little bit different than like a normal 808 would feel? How can I take a snare drum and make it feel a little bit different? Okay, put a fucking energy sword on it. You know what I mean? Like just that all that type of shit is really what adds up to something feeling like a little bit that's like what adds that unique quality to it.
Yeah.
Because I could just go pick same samples everybody else uses and just put together the beat, and it would probably, for most people, it would probably feel the same.
Yeah.
But when you dive in on like the extra little details like that and try to tweak the sounds to be just a little different than like the way they just are straight up, that's what makes it sound. That's what makes the whole thing be like, this just kind of sounds different than anything I've heard.
Yeah.
So I'm putting this back in. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that little thing on the second half. So it's like to keep it evolving, you know. So you have this little thing. You also have a high vocal layer that's hella tucked that comes in there second half. That I just pitched.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. But it's just like kind of barely there, but you just get this little kiss of it that feels like a little bit more momentum building, you know?
That's crazy.
And now we're here. And then this part I added, so you have the normal drums still doing their thing, but then I just duplicated it and made a parallel layer and just cranked the distortion on and made it feel a little bit more like, just to kind of double down on like the tribal like kind of drum quality to it. Hi-hats back in. And then, now we're back home.
There we go.
To the beat. So around this point, like once I had kind of gotten to this point, you know, of like, okay, the beat's feeling like it's put together, you know, I've got all the elements in there, everything's feeling like, you know, just familiar enough, just unique enough, is when I started fucking around with the vocals. I was like, okay, you know, how do I just do my thing on it, you know? So I just sat there on my fucking iPhone and just, you know, started writing lyrics. And I wanted to write lyrics that like obviously played up like the halo-ness of it all, but like not too like kind of always going back and forth between like just writing some lyrics I would normally write, and then also just like playing into the halo thing because it's a themed TikTok, it's a themed thing. Like I'm just gonna be fun to like play into it. So here's the vocals.
Look into the sky, tell me what you see. I can shoot them all like a master chief. I've been on a run, killing free. I know I'm the one, I got what you need. I get the bitch and she wanna live like I'm a new flavor. You know I tried a million times but I couldn't save her. How can I let it go, fuck what you came in for, I'm on that new shit, I'm with that old shit, I don't wanna hear no more. I'm popping these thorns, I'm swinging the sword and I bring the energy. Hop out the hornet, I'm living my life, I'm building a forge, I heard you got the team, I got the bird.
So that's where the TikTok ended. Like, because that's a minute, you know? And of course, like, on TikTok, I couldn't post more than a minute. But they just added a 3-minute feature, so you can do it now. But when I was making it, I couldn't do it, so so I had to cut it off right there. But now we'll get into the other shit. And there's actually, you know, when you solo the vocals, it's kind of funny. You can hear like there's, you know, a variety of different effects and like layering and stuff. Like,
look into the sky, tell me what you see. I can shoot them up like a master chief.
delay throws.
I've been on a run, killing spree. I know I'm the one, I got what you need.
You know,
I get the
falsetto
bitch and she
stuff.
wanna live like I'm a new flavor. You know I tried a million times, but I couldn't save her.
That's cool.
How can I?
Little harmonies and stuff, but just barely.
You hear that before.
I know you can't. No,
I
hear
get
like,
the bitch and she wanna live like
just
I'm a new
barely-
flavor. You know I tried a million times, but I couldn't save her. How can I let?
just little things to kind of keep the momentum always
You know I
rolling.
tried
You
a
know.
million. How can I let it go? Fuck what you came here for. I'm on that new shit.
little
I with
glitch.
that old shit. I don't wanna hear no more. I'm flipping these foreigns. I'm swinging the sword, and I bring the
And this
energy.
part was just
Hop
more
out the
straight
hornet,
up,
I'm
you know?
living my life. Yeah, I'm building a forge. I heard you got the team.
Now we
I
got-
got the bird. Rich, and I know it. Take my gravity ever. I'm sending you float away up in the sky. I am inevitable. You can't deny.
So, there's that.
I am inevitable, you can't deny. Got a couple girls that I'm feeling. Gotta have them both, I'm the real thing. Gotta catch them all like I'm reeling. With my shoes low, I was healing. Breaking the shit up.
The shield sound from Halo. Put that in the gap. You know, like.
Breaking the shit on my breaking bone. The rest is your reaction on. Whatever shit, so nobody do their thing. Come on. Look into the sky.
And then I just brought it back to like the hook, like treated that first part as the hook, did that again. And then, and nothing in the beats really changing like throughout here, kind of just like copy and paste besides like those little moments like the shield, you know, the shield noise and, you know, shit like that. But I mean, once you get, I try to keep everything like relatively, you know, simple. There's a few things I never showed before, like there's, you know, going into the beats, there's like this thing. That type of stuff. There's, you know, you get an impact.
That's huge.
And there, you know, like this one's actually 2 different impacts combined. So I took like the beginning, just that little first part of a different one, and then a second one, you know, to be right there. So there's that stuff. But I mean, once you establish, like, you know, simple is usually good, you know. So it's like you don't really need that many elements to make something feel like put together. It's then
it's just the details.
At that point, it's like it's more about the moments. You know, it's like, okay, little moment here, little thing there, you know, little fill there, or whatever. So we do this hook again.
Look into the sky, tell me.
And then I like decided I wanted to end it like with a guitar solo.
Yeah.
because
Of course.
why the fuck
Why
not? I'm a fucking rock artist, okay?
Yeah.
Wanted to end it with a guitar solo, so I started fucking around with that, and this is how it turned out.
When I
So yes, I played that, okay?
Fuck.
We got second half
That's
here.
a ripping solo, dude.
Thank you, yeah. We added, I could, like, was just trying to, like, because this whole part, you know, really feels very, like, you know, there's all this tension and, like, momentum, you know? So I wanted to build it throughout the solo, so the second half, you get these, like, you get these, like, big stadium claps, kind of, and you get all this, like, me just screaming. In the middle of the shredding. So there you have it. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's like it's relatively simple, but it's just about like, for me, it's like, okay, I always want to make things that like are simple and feel good and aren't like too crazy or complex, because sometimes that's just not super fun to listen to.
Yeah.
But like, it's just about just even having the creativity. Like, nothing I did here is like that, like mind blowing or whatever. But it's just, you know,
Well,
I can't believe
combination
nobody's.
of everything
It's the
is-
combination. Nobody, like, I can't believe nobody. I was looking for it. Nobody's ever like thought to make this into like a beat. You know, which is crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? How come nobody's ever thought to do that? Like, it just, there's things that just like.
Imagine all the people that went like, oh shit, I should have thought of that.
Exactly. I'm sure there was a ton, because I'm a fucking genius.
There you go.
girls that I'm feeling, gotta have them both, I'm the real thing. Gotta catch them all like I'm reeling. With my shoes low, I was healing. Breaking the shit on my back.